Ancient Greece, a land of myths, legends, and extraordinary intellectual achievements. The ancient Greeks were pioneers in governance, experimenting with different forms of government. Their story is a journey through the evolution of political thought. From monarchies to democracies, they laid the groundwork for modern political systems. Join us as we explore the roots of our political heritage. At the heart of ancient Greek life lay the polis, the city-state. The polis represented a shared identity and a common bond. It fostered community, encouraging active political participation. This direct democracy empowered citizens to shape their lives. The legacy of the Greek polis is a testament to human ingenuity. The echoes of ancient Greece reverberate through time, influencing political thought and practice for millennia. From democracy to the rule of law, their ideas shape modern governance. The Athenian model inspires political participation and democratic reform. Ancient Greece's legacy is a living tradition shaping our world. In early Greece, kings ruled with divine right, offering stability in uncertain times. Their palaces were centers of power, but the concentration of authority had risks. As society evolved, the rise of aristocracy and demands for participation led to new governance forms, setting the stage for democracy. Section 2, A World of Kings Exploring Mycenaean Monarchies. The Mycenaean civilization, flourishing in the late Bronze Age, offers a glimpse into early Greek monarchies. Centered in fortified palaces, Mycenaean kings presided over a hierarchical society. Their authority, evident in their architecture and tombs, intricate records on clay tablets reveal their administrative prowess. These tablets provide a unique window into Mycenaean government. Mycenaean kings controlled resources, trade, and military campaigns. They forged alliances and engaged in extensive trade. Their palaces served as centers of administration. The Mycenaean world was a network of independent kingdoms. These kingdoms often engaged in rivalry and warfare. The collapse of the Mycenaean civilization remains a mystery. Yet the legacy of monarchy endured, shaping Greek political thought. Section 3, Beyond the Throne, the Legacy of Monarchy in Greek Thought. The decline of Mycenaean monarchies did not mark the end of kingship in Greece. Monarchies persisted in some regions, and the concept of the king remained a potent symbol in Greek literature, mythology, and political thought. The Homeric epics, the Iliad and the Odyssey, for example, are steeped in the world of kings, their narratives exploring themes of honor, duty, and the burdens of leadership. The kings of Homer, such as Agamemnon and Odysseus, are complex figures, both revered and flawed, embodying the virtues and vices of power. As Greek society evolved, however, so too did its views on monarchy. The rise of the polis, with its emphasis on citizen participation and collective governance, challenged the absolute authority of kings. Philosophers and political thinkers began to grapple with the nature of power, questioning the legitimacy of hereditary rule and exploring alternative forms of government. Plato, for instance, in his Republic, argued for a philosopher king, a ruler chosen not by birthright but by wisdom and virtue. Aristotle, in his Politics, categorized different forms of government, analyzing the strengths and weaknesses of each. While acknowledging the potential benefits of monarchy under an ideal ruler, Aristotle also recognized its inherent risks, particularly the potential for tyranny. The legacy of monarchy in Greek thought, therefore, is complex and multifaceted. While the absolute rule of kings ultimately gave way to new forms of government, the concept of monarchy continued to shape Greek political discourse, serving as both a model and a cautionary tale in their ongoing quest for a just and stable society. The Greek experience with monarchy, with its triumphs and failures, provided fertile ground for reflection on the nature of power, the responsibilities of leadership, and the delicate balance between individual ambition and the common good. Power shifts in ancient Greece. As the Mycenaean world faded, a new elite, the aristocrats, rose to power. These aristoi claimed leadership through lineage, wealth, and land control. They traced their ancestry to heroes, wielding influence over city-states. Their power was rooted in tradition, wealth, and martial prowess. Yet the rise of merchants and citizens began to challenge their dominance. The stage was set for a clash between aristocratic privilege and citizen aspirations. Section 2, a rule of privilege, exploring the dynamics of aristocratic rule. Aristocratic rule in ancient Greece was a balancing act between maintaining privilege and addressing community needs. Aristocrats governed with a semblance of consent, legitimizing their rule through tradition, religious authority, and patronage. They controlled key institutions like the council, assembly, and courts, ensuring their interests were protected. Their lifestyle of privilege included lavish banquets and intellectual pursuits, setting cultural standards. Patronage of poets and philosophers shaped public opinion and reinforced power structures. However, wealth concentration bred resentment among lower classes who bore the brunt of taxation and military service. Arbitrary power by some aristocrats eroded public trust and fueled calls for reform. Section 3. Seeds of Discontent. The unraveling of aristocratic power. Inequalities in aristocratic rule led to challenges that shook its foundations. The growth of trade and a burgeoning merchant class created new wealth centers, challenging aristocratic dominance. The rise of the hoplite class, citizen soldiers from farmers and artisans, further undermined aristocratic power. The spread of literacy allowed ordinary citizens to access knowledge and challenge the elite. New leaders emerged based on oratorical skills and military acumen, not birthright. The unraveling of aristocratic power was gradual, marked by reform, rebellion, and tyranny. The polis transformed into a more inclusive arena where power was contested and shared. Section 1. The shadow of oligarchy power concentrated in the hands of a few. As traditional aristocracy loosened, oligarchy emerged, drawing strength from wealth. Oligarchy adapted to economic changes while maintaining control. They co-opted the merchant class, solidifying power through alliances. Oligarchies promised stability and efficiency, presenting themselves as guardians of order. However, they were exclusive and self-serving, breeding secrecy and cronyism. Power consolidation led to corruption, silencing dissent and stifling competition. The mechanisms of oligarchy often became tools of oppression. Section 2. Behind closed doors, the mechanics of oligarchic rule. Oligarchies thrived in shadows, consolidating power through informal ties and controlled institutions. Elections were often rigged to ensure desired outcomes. Control of information was key, restricting access to challenge authority. Dissent was met with brutal reprisals, silencing critics. Economic policies favored the elite, with tax burdens on lower classes. Access to trade routes and contracts was tightly controlled. Divide and conquer tactics prevented united opposition, maintaining a climate of fear. Section 3. A system under strain. The inherent instability of oligarchy. Oligarchies, while stable short-term, were inherently unstable and vulnerable. Concentrated power bred resentment and instability. Inequality created discontent, leading to social unrest and uprisings. Internal dynamics were marked by suspicion and power struggles. Factionalism and intrigue weakened oligarchies from within. History shows oligarchies crumbling under their contradictions. The need for just and inclusive governance became evident. Section 1. The Athenian experiment. Dawn of democracy in the ancient world. Athenian democracy emerged from struggles for citizen governance. It represented a radical departure from prevailing norms, emphasizing equality. Despite limitations, it challenged the notion of elite power. Reforms by leaders like Solon and Cleisthenes paved the way for inclusivity. The Athenian navy empowered lower-class citizens. Athenian democracy was dynamic, evolving through challenges. It left a lasting impact on Western civilization, inspiring future generations. Section 2, the mechanics of Athenian democracy, power to the people. Athenian democracy believed in collective wisdom. The assembly, open to all male citizens, was the supreme decision-making body. Citizens debated and voted on various issues, with decisions by majority vote. Random selection for government positions ensured broad participation. The Council of 500 set the assembly's agenda. Large juries in courts made bribery difficult. Accountability was emphasized, with officials subject to scrutiny. Section 3. Beyond the ideal. Limitations and contradictions of Athenian democracy. Athenian democracy had significant limitations, excluding women, slaves, and foreigners. Women were denied political rights and confined to domestic roles. Slaves, a significant population, lacked basic human rights. Athenian democracy was built on imperial ambition, contradicting its ideals. Despite limitations, it remains a remarkable chapter in political history. It highlights the ongoing pursuit of a just and equitable society. The lessons from Athenian democracy continue to resonate today. Section 1. Seeking balance. The concept of the mixed constitution. The ancient Greeks recognized that no single system of governance was without flaws. Monarchy could descend into tyranny, aristocracy could succumb to privilege, oligarchy bred corruption, democracy was vulnerable to mob passions. Thus, the mixed constitution emerged, blending monarchy, aristocracy, and democracy. This system aimed to balance power and prevent any single entity from dominating. Sparta, famed for its disciplined soldiers, had a unique governance system blending monarchy, oligarchy, and democracy. Two kings shared power, limiting each other's authority. The Gerousia, a council of elders, represented the oligarchic element. The Apella, an assembly of citizens, embodied democracy. This system of checks and balances proved remarkably stable. A delicate equilibrium, strengths and weaknesses of mixed constitutions. The mixed constitution, as exemplified by the Spartan model and other attempts to blend different forms of government, offered a compelling alternative to the perceived extremes of pure systems. By dispersing power among different institutions representing different social groups, the mixed constitution sought to prevent the concentration of power in the hands of a single individual or faction, promoting stability, balance, and, in theory, more considered decision-making. One of the key strengths of the mixed constitution lay in its ability to accommodate diversity and manage social tensions. By providing a voice to different segments of society, it could channel dissent through established institutions, preventing the kind of social unrest and upheaval that often plagued more homogeneous systems. The inclusion of aristocratic elements, for example, could temper the potential excesses of democracy, while the presence of democratic institutions could prevent the aristocracy from becoming too entrenched and out of touch with the needs of the wider populace. However, the mixed constitution was not without its challenges. Maintaining the delicate balance between different elements of the system required constant vigilance and a willingness to compromise. The potential for gridlock, where competing interests stymied effective governance, was a constant threat. Moreover, the very complexity of the system could make it difficult for ordinary citizens to understand, let alone participate in, the political process. The success of a mixed constitution ultimately depended on the willingness of different groups to share power, respect the rule of law, and prioritize the common good over narrow self-interest. Where these conditions prevailed, the mixed constitution could indeed foster stability, prosperity, and a measure of justice. However, where these conditions were absent, the mixed constitution could easily degenerate into a system rife with factionalism, inequality, and the very abuses of power it was designed to prevent. Echoes of ancient Greece, the enduring legacy of Greek political thought. As we stand amidst the ruins of ancient Greek cities, we are reminded that the echoes of the past resonate far beyond history books. The political innovations of the ancient Greeks have left an indelible mark on Western civilization and beyond. The concept of democracy, with its emphasis on citizen participation, equality before the law, and the rule of law, finds its roots in ancient Athens. The Athenian experiment dared to imagine a world where ordinary citizens had a voice in shaping their community. This radical idea has since inspired generations to strive for a more just and representative form of governance. From the Roman Forum to the halls of Parliament, tracing the threads of influence. Greek political thought survived in medieval Europe, preserved in manuscripts. The Renaissance revived Plato and Aristotle, sparking democratic ideals. The Enlightenment drew on Greek legacy, inspiring revolutions and modern democracies. Ancient Greece's influence endures. A timeless quest. The ongoing relevance of ancient Greek political thought in the modern world. Ancient Greek political thought remains strikingly relevant today. The tension between individual liberty and the common good, the dangers of tyranny, and the importance of civic virtue continue to resonate. In an age of political polarization and declining trust, the Greek ideal of an engaged citizenry offers a powerful antidote. By learning from their legacy, we can navigate the complexities of the present and build a better future.